you ever thought about how your childhood interests could foreshadow what you would do as an adult? I have a friend, Warren Byrne, who wrote sports stories for his junior high and high school newspaper, and he grew up and became the sports editor for the Russellville, Arkansas paper. And there's my kindergarten friend, Sarah Rainey, who every week in Sunday school class drew these marvelous pictures while we were waiting for our Sunday school teacher to show. And she now has an art gallery and showcases her work as well as others. So I started to think about what were the defining moments in my life. At 9, I set up a Kool-Aid stand on Main Street in Jonesboro. Fortunately, that's where I live, on Main Street, Jonesboro. My very first customer, I can remember driving up in the pickup truck, getting out, putting $1 down for a nickel cherry Kool-Aid. I picked up the dollar, gave him his cup, and started darting toward the house. He said, "Wait, where are you going?" I said, "Well, I have to go inside to get some change. You're my first customer of the day." He said, "Well, don't worry, you just keep the change." And talk about a happy girl. And I thought, this making money, it's a good deal. I'm liking it. Another defining thing in that time period was I have an older brother, about 19 months older than me. So I was nice to him all during the week, waited on him, so when his friends came over, that he would let me play with he and his friends. And we would play kickball and baseball and wiffle ball. It was great fun. Also, in 6th grade, my dad decided to start taking his family to all the in-state Arkansas Razorback games. And you could find me every Sunday night sitting with my brother and dad watching the Coach Frank Roll show. And in that show, Frank would diagram the play. And he also would talk about all 4 quarters and show the action of all 4 quarters and talk about the plays and the players. So over the course of 8 years of going to all the in-state games and watching football and asking my dad questions, and also continuing playing with my brother's friends through high school, which included football. I got to know the game and loved it. So fast forward 40 years later, and here I am at the stage of my life asking, what's next? And can you guess what I decided to do? I decided to start a service to teach women about football. And it's funny that you should laugh, because when I made the commitment to do this, I knew I would get all sorts of different responses. And so, but I was prepared for it. I actually think it's funny. But I've really committed to this project, and I'll explain why. For one thing, football, I guess you know, is a big part of our culture. I don't think I need to go into detail about it. But among other considerations and thinking about satisfying this need that I identify that women have, I really classified it as an unidentified need, meaning that my target market women have not really thought how knowing about football could benefit them. So I thought it might be interesting to reveal these needs by polling this audience. Okay. So fellow Toastmasters, there's several questions for you. Please raise your hand in fitness situations. How many of you know football, go to games, watch on TV, and really understand and enjoy the game itself? So we have 5 men that do that. Unfortunately, our women audience is very low, but that doesn't matter. Okay. How many, I have to rephrase this a second, how many have been invited to attend games with other people, family, friends, and have sat through the game, not really knowing what's going on, and was bored and started thinking about something else or playing on your iPhone? Anybody in that category? Yeah. football was talked about, part of the conversation. Everybody but Sue J, is that right, Sue J?
Yeah.
You haven't been involved.
He's been hiding under a rock.
I was gonna say, we are concerned. You didn't hear about the Razorbacks getting stomped over? I mean,
So that, what that reveals to me is that the dominance of football in our environment, but also that there's a need for, well, some of you men didn't raise your hands in the first question, so you can identify with this next question. There's a need for women in particular that will benefit them to improve not only their enjoyment of the game, but more importantly, their personal, social, family, and business relationships. So that's how I've devised my service, is that it's a two-pronged approach. It's going to teach the basics of the game, but you don't have to know all the rules to learn the game of football and enjoy it. So it's going to teach the basics of the game, but I'm also going to provide a filtering service to provide knowledge, provide a resource for reading through my website that will enable women to read on a few topics so that they get well versed in those particular topics related to football, not necessarily the football game itself, but other current events that involve football, like the Bowl Championship Series format, things like that. So that when you're in a situation, you've been in the last 2 days, that when the conversation does start, that you're able to participate in it. There's nothing worse than being in a conversation, and here being a part of a group in a conversation has nothing to add to it. There was, in talking to people about my service, I did have actually a girl who signs up people for the War Memorial tailgate sites. Said, I'm glad you're doing this, because I was in a conversation with some men, and they were talking about football, and I had no idea what they were talking about. And she's the one that is in a football-related field, signing up, events at War Memorial Stadium, tailgating events, and knows nothing about football. So, I'm offering 2 types of classes: group classes and individual classes. This card is about the group classes. And group classes will be, it's a choice. Group classes will be at my house in a fun, relaxing setting, offer food and refreshments. And women will be among other women no larger than 8 people, so they have an opportunity to learn in a fun, relaxed setting. The individual classes, the class is more as a 5-hour commitment. The group session is a 12-hour commitment, 2 hours each week for 6 weeks. But the individual is a 5-hour commitment where the first hour you learn the basics of the game. The next, the client will then have an opportunity to choose a game, high school, junior high, college, pro, and we either watch the game or we go to the game. And I will talk throughout the whole game, tell them what's going on, answer the questions so they can learn that way. Followed by an hour later in the week where they have a chance to digest the information and then compose other questions and come back to me and for an hour and we'll answer those questions and reiterate what they learned, reconfirm what they learned in the previous times with me. You might say, how will this benefit women and fellow male members of the society? Well, for one thing, it will teach them the basics of the game so they can enjoy it at the very basic level. It's also an avenue for them to improve their personal, business, social, and family relationships. And so for the non-female members of our group today, you have the opportunity to encourage your show them how much you want them to be fully engaged in something that will benefit them long term, this cultural phenomenon